All right, so welcome to your senior English course selection presentation. Today in this video, you're going to be hearing from mythology and folklore, contemporary literature, and British literature. So to kick it off for you all, we do have an overview of all of your choices and some things to keep in mind before we start the presentation. So one thing to note is that all three of these courses are on-level senior courses. So what that means is regardless of if you take Myth, Brit, Contemp, all are literature and writing courses, which means that the majority of your grade is going to be composed of writing. Now, writing, that doesn't just mean essays, but it does mean all forms of formal writing that you're going to be doing in your classes. Another note for the all senior lit classes is that they are teaching and assessing the same skills. So some of those skills include analytical, narrative, and synthesis writing, reading comprehension, different forms of discussion and participation, presentations, collaboration, and self and time management. Some major assignments that you could be expecting over the year in all three courses. There will be about 3 major out of class essays, 2 to 4 different projects and presentations. There will be reading homework. You can also expect some smaller in-class writing assignments, both creative and analytical, and you are expected, regardless of what course you choose, to be participating and discussing.
All right, one disclaimer to keep in mind is that you should not select courses based on who is currently teaching the course. Because we allow you to choose senior courses based on interest, we do not know the numbers of students taking each course until after course selection takes place. This means we will not know who is teaching what until after course selection. You should make your decision based on your interest in the course content and the way the workload fits into your schedule, and not who is currently teaching the course. So the first course that we're going to be talking about today is Mythology and Folklore. A couple of highlights from the first semester include the first unit, where we cover a bunch of cultural mythologies from around the world, followed by Grendel, which is a novel about the monster from the Beowulf myth, told from the monster's perspective, followed by the Penelopiad, which is a novel that is about Penelope's experience from the Odyssey. Some unique assignments and topics for the first semester will include the personal myth project, where you reflect about your life and your values and connect them to the myths that we've read throughout the semester, and also the creation myth project, where you pick a particular myth that you're interested in presenting on in greater detail with a group.
Semester 2 for mythology and folklore is going to focus on the folklore aspect. So we start off our year reading Dracula by Bram Stoker and focusing on vampire studies and the supernatural and occult. We then move on to Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel, where we talk about magical realism, family, food, and traditions. And we end the year with fairy tales, and we're going to read various cultural fairy tales and some excerpts from The Princess Bride. So some unique assignments and topics for this semester. We do a food project with Like Water for Chocolate, and we do a fairy tale study to end up your senior year. So you should take mythology and folklore if you are interested in studying some of these topics. If you like the idea of modernization of myths, looking at different cultures, introspection, the journey of self-discovery, discussing tradition, looking at cultural fears and values, and then analyzing satire.
Our next course is contemporary literature. In first semester, what we focus on is we start off with a college essay and personal narrative unit. So lots of practice for any of those college essay prompts. Then we move into a short stories and literary criticism unit. So focusing on feminism, queer theory, critical race theory, a little bit of psychoanalysis, and pair all, the lenses with various excerpts of short stories. All that leads into our main core text for first semester, which is The White Boy Shuffle. which again incorporates all of those lenses. Our final assessment for first semester would be a final essay. And then moving into second semester, we would have the Year of the Flood, which is our main core text for second semester. And then with that, we are also pairing that with a lit analysis essay as well. Then the bulk of second semester focuses on film, so focusing on cinematography, editing, symbolism, music in various films, and that culminates into a create your own film project. You should take contemporary literature if you are interested in studying any of the following topics: race, gender, sexuality, the psychology of characters in literature, religion and science, film, and post-apocalyptic societies.
Hello, I'm Miss Kaufman.
I'm Mr. Holiday.
And we are going to talk about your last offering for an on-level senior English course, which is British literature. Shockingly, it's the study of literature from Britain. So I'm going to talk about first semester. British literature is divided into two kind of thematic studies each semester. So we focus on one theme the entirety of semester one, and a different theme the entirety of semester two. So for semester one, our theme is what is a monster? So we look at the purpose and creation of monsters in various texts of British literature. So we do that through looking at various short stories, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Macbeth. This all culminates in an investigation project, which asks you to come up with your own definition of what is a monster based on our study, and then create your own kind of modern version of a monster based on that definition. Something else we do first semester is we have you guys do a fun kind of role-playing activity where we go through a trial of Macbeth, where you guys act as lawyers and juries and characters from the play, and we put Macbeth on trial for his action throughout the play. And that leads us to semester two. Take it away, Mr. Holiday.
Is the complete opposite of semester one. Semester one's all about monsters and difference and what's outside of culture. And so we flip that entirely on its head in semester two when we question what is normal? What do we consider part of everyday life, and how do we critique that? It's also the complete opposite because unlike the first semester with all these scary stories about murder and awful people, in second semester we look at satire and humor. So it's actually a very humorous semester. We start with some selections from Canterbury Tales, which is 12th century, 13th century satire, and then we go into The Importance of Being Earnest, which is Victorian, and then we end with the modern Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and look at sci-fi and satire. And the very end of the semester, when you are in full senioritis mode in May, we look at Sherlock Holmes. We have this kind of standalone unit where we look at the BBC version compared to all the old short stories, and it's a very fun way of ending the senior year. Our unique assignments and activities: we have a satire project where you actually get to write your own satire about life at Monte Vista and critique and make fun of some of the stuff that goes on at this high school. And then we also end with you getting to create your own mystery project a la Sherlock Holmes. So you should really be taking this course if you think that those focuses are interesting. When you heard about the semesters, we do focus on those two ideas for the whole semester, and you will be coming back to it continually. We also do humor, and we do add some critical lens study into our second semester to critique what is normal. And so if looking at that side of literature is interesting to you, then you should definitely take Brit Lit. And with the end of that, we are done with our senior course presentation. Thank you so much for bearing with us to the end of this video, if you did make it here. And we hope to see you next year in our courses. Goodbye, everyone.